Ivan Juric's masterclasses have led the Saints, or Southampton, to an early grave. They are relegated to the Championship. Two managers, a bunch of signings have failed to keep them in the Premier League. With a whopping 7 games still to go, the worst record currently in Prem history, as Derby hold the record in 2007-8 with only 11 points in a season. Southampton currently have only 10. So things looking pretty bleak for the Saints. They are going to visit the league they just got promoted from. However, I'm not even bothered about an immediate bounce up. I want a full reset, as I am taking over the Saints as the new owner, hopefully getting things right by appointing a new manager and playing a distinctive play style here in the Championship. And we're going to lose a lot of players to start off with, but the aim is pretty straightforward. Take the Saints back to the big time. As yes, people, here we are, season number 1 with the Saints in the Championship. I relegated the teams that actually were in the relegation zone at the moment in real life. And this is the new manager we're taking on. Liam Rosenior, formerly known for his days in the Championship with Hull City, and currently having a class time over at Strasbourg in Ligue 1. A team closely linked with Chelsea, as this is the Saints starting 11. Now, of course, we have rebuilt these before in career mode, I think twice now. However, this one's very different. Of course, like I've said a couple of times, we are in the Championship and we'll have to battle to get out. I've promoted the best 3 from League 1 and this league. So we have the likes of Wrexham, Wickham, I believe, Burnley, Leeds and Sheffield. But here is where it gets different. Now, if we get a bid in from a major league, because we're in a second league here in the Championship. Say, for instance, Tyler Diblin. We must sell them to a bigger club. However, if a sideways move comes up to a second division team, we can reject it. And that is the rule for Season 1. Despite £36 million, we must accept every offer and we cannot add the money to the budget that we make. And we've got a huge squad because I've had to recall every player out on loan. And I'm just hoping that we do make some money this year. And with us having to sell a lot of players, I don't want to go straight in there with the signings. I do want to use the academy, as Julian Oliveira is here. He looks pretty good. Stefane Sangare, Samuel Villalba, and also Tariq Salim looks half decent. We're going to get them out on loan, as this is a perfect example of the transfers. We can reject West Brom, Sugawara, because West Brom are in our league. However, Genoa are in the top division of Italy. I cannot keep that money. I must accept the bid for Howard Bellis, as he's the first player to leave and one of the players I actually wanted to build my team around, which is a shame, and I'm pretty sure he will not be the last one out here, as the second bid is the bid I really dreaded most of all. It's not the 100 million they want, but 4 million for Tyler Diblin. We then say goodbye to Mateus Fernandes, making a bit of money to Paris Saint-Germain, and then a lot more players are going. I'm going to show you this on the transfer hub, as here we are on deadline day and a lot of more bids have come through. We're losing a lot of decent players that did get us promoted and were out on loan at the start, like Will Smallbone, a lot of midfielders out the club. Even one of our players we just promoted, Vilabla, where the heck's he going? No idea where he's walking to, but it still has left us a decent team. With 5 hours on deadline day to go, I'm going to get this sorted out still. And I am very impressed we've kept Aaron Ramsdale. As you can see, the money we made in the middle, 132 million, but we can only spend 36. And I do want someone in the center of the park. Adam Lallana is getting old now. Let's just get someone with a bit of potential, not too old. And here's a star player if he joins our team. And I've gone ahead to sign Morten Frendrup. He fits straight into that midfield, which will be changed, as I've changed it already to the 4-1-2-3, or the 4-3-3 defensive variant. Gotta say, it's very mismatched, and we will be changing this to Liam Rosenior's favourite shape. This has been a transitional year, but we are going to go to the 4-2-3-1, which he loves, which will fit Brereton Diaz, only 26 still, Cameron Archer. We've used him a lot before in saves. Adam Lallana's getting old. Flynn Downs is still very useful. And I do like this defence, despite Wellington not playing every game. I don't mind it as Aaron Ramsdale the best. He's gone +2. But we can't forget with this man, he's been relegated on 4 instances. One time it was Grimsby that actually relegated him. I think it was with Chesterfield. Flynn Downs has grown, Sugawara, Freindrup, it's loads of +2s here. And a lot of players out on loan. Oliveira only up +1, Sangare not up at all. 2 probably sidewards moves, which hasn't got them into the teams they respectively are both on loan at, as Brereton Diaz our top scorer, Cameron Archer only 2 more than Juan, our Brazilian maestro. But like I keep saying, this is a transitional year and we don't transition very well. It's 7th, it is outside of the playoffs, just like where he got Hull City in real life a few seasons back, as Hull are actually down there. Birmingham City somehow won the league, and I'm gonna have to hold my tongue because we obviously know why they are there. They spend a hell of a lot of cash, as Villa hammered us in round 3 of the FA Cup. Leeds won this Carabao, as I'm not going to say the team we actually lost to, and the playoffs won by Ipswich Town, so they're a team going straight back up. Yes, them and Leicester. That is really unfortunate. To cheer me up, will you leave a like and subscribe to the channel? As back to this thinning squad, we do have another midfielder that's replaced Adam Lallana straight away, Madzuki, only 22. Maybe he could be our cam, as we do need to change this shape up. 4-2-3-1, which everywhere online it says Rosinia plays. I really hope he gets the real life job, just so I've kind of predicted it. And the team slots in very nicely. We'll change Frendrup to a CDM, Madzuki to a cam. He could be a very useful player. And Amo Amayao is already a right mid, and that's stupid because I already thought he was a left wing. Don't know how I got that wrong, as we've got 50 million. But another rule I didn't say, parachute payments are over, meaning after the first season in the championship, we must give ourselves a realistic championship budget, and £12 million. I think it's something like 11.7 actually. Is more like it. We've got a balanced team, a few old players, a few younger. Aaron Ramsdale, like I said, he keeps getting relegated. He's not a good omen. And Cameron Archer I have used a lot, so I might actually get rid of the decent player and build an entirely new squad, because like I said, we now have transitioned to being a championship squad again, and we need to build it from the ground up to make sure we don't suffer relegation again, as Cameron Archer's going to Brighton Hove Albion, and Aaron Ramsdale out the door, surprisingly enough, going back to Bournemouth for surprisingly not as much as I actually thought, as now we're back where we started. £50 million, and we do have a goalkeeper I want to use. Bazunu's already here. I know he's not having the best of times in real life, but he's going to be in my squad. I might actually get another cam in, and I'm definitely going for a striker. Maybe even a veteran centre-back. We shall see, as we've got Juan, who is a decent striker. So I do want to get a striker in that may actually push him as well, who can grow at the same rate. We do have strict transfers on, so £5 million for Ike Bravo, who once was at Real Madrid. Looking forward to see the damage he can do, supported by Lee Hyun-ju. A new cam I went and found, who is 22, so younger and out and out in that central attacking midfield position, as I'm going to leave the defence and right mid. Next up is definitely cleaning up the age of this bench. And I'm going to test Liam Rosinia to use his Strasbourg links now, signing young Brazilian right-back Vinicius Tobias, who looks a decent player, and then going a little bit overboard with the second guy, Sebastian Nanasi. Might have broken some FFP rules to get him in, costing 21.1 million. And he's only moved us up 1 position. 6th in the playoffs, just over Millwall by a literal point. Wolves were in this division. Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, after their Champions League tour, end up in the Championship. Not really good for them, as Leeds United win their 2nd trophy of this save so far. I'm hoping we go and win our own soon, the playoff one that is, as Plymouth beat us in round 4. Tottenham get the Carabao, as we were out to Derby County. That one in round 2. And we actually played Wolverhampton Wanderers off the park. 4-0 is sensational. Then Coventry versus Bristol City, 4-3 in that one. Very interesting. And then the finale, Not a high-scoring one like the semi-finals were, but we get the job done and dusted. Long gone are the days of Ivan Juric as we go to the Premier League. With the same result they got there against Leeds. Was it last season? Yes, it was, wasn't it? And this is the team. Nanasi stepped straight in. Of course, I was going to put him in with that price tag that he cost. Friendrup improving, same as Sugawara. Good growth out of Ike Bravo. Still got a long way to go on him. And then Lee Hyun-ju the same. Ammo. He's going to be a good player. We just need to forget about his rating for now. As even on the bench, that is lacking. Tobias, the player we signed, the only good one. Yes, we have got promoted. Yes, we've done really good as a team, but we've got to be a lot better as our top scorer was Brereton Diaz, who I might as well force into the team. He's scoring goals for us at the right-hand side. Amo Ameao might have to go out on loan or just wait for his time to shine off the bench because full focus on surviving this year. I don't want to be relegated. Again, like the Saints usually are, and at least we do have a very good budget of £82 million. Really good, especially for promotion. Usually it's around 60, but I guess parachute payments have come back somehow. And to be fair, clubs usually do come up with this amount of money. I'll switch that around, and the only position we definitely need is a centre-back because we have no cover for Nathan Wood, and also Lee Hyun-ju is low rated. Then again on the bench, Matsuki, so we do have two very young players there. One as a backup striker's okay as well. He's 24 though, so maybe a centre-back, backup striker, and then a new CDM for the captain to be benched. As no offence to Flynn Downs, he is a really decent championship player, but he is one of the only players I've ever seen that cannot step up to the Premier League at all. He didn't do it when he transferred to West Ham United, and also he hasn't done it here with Southampton in 2 spells. So guess where the first place I'm checking is? Of course, it's going to be this club, Strasbourg. Very good centre-back there. Ismail Doucouré is only 22. James Garner in their squad. Now, I kind of don't want to go and select him. Used him plenty in a save before, but there is some very decent players over here in France. Mamadou Sarr being the best one. I think I've got to prioritise him over Le Marechal. So just Sarr for now, and I think I'm going to stop with Strasbourg for this season at least, as now at least it looks like it could survive in this division, it seems. But I do want that striker before the centre mid, just to see how much money we'll be left with. And I do want to go to an obscure nation, as here in Switzerland, Kevin Carlos, he would be another Spanish striker, and if he just could get a little growth, he would be a very solid backup option. Happy with that. He's actually higher rated than Bravo at the moment, but won't start over him as the next thing. I am going to give Ryan Fraser a bench position this year in his final year of professional football, as Amo now gets a loan deal and a defensive midfielder gets brought in Johnny Cardoso. He goes to the right-hand side of the defensive midfield positions, as this team, apart from our attack, weirdly enough, is sensational. It's usually the attack that actually leads the way. Sugawara always comes good in career mode, and I have no idea why. Same with Brereton Diaz, now a right mid. But Edwards, I really love that we've used him. This man, Wellington, I'd never heard of. Sarr's good for a 21-year-old. I could literally go for the whole team. But Bravo hasn't been playing because of our bench striker, Kevin Carlos, who must have just budged in. We've got a +3 to Cardoso, but a man very high up, +11 on loan. Yes, at Lyonnais, so we got a really good loan deal, but Samuel Amo Ameao, I told you to forget about Tyler Diblin. Good luck to him at Newcastle, but no chance he's as good as Amo, who we don't unfortunately get to see the stats of, but Nanasi, our top scorer. Really do like the Swede, and we do survive in the Premier League. It is not yo-yo time anymore. We do finish 40 points and 14th with -14 in goal difference, but look at that. We were definitely in the relegation race. A lot of teams fighting for survival. We were one of the lucky ones, as Brentford below us won the FA Cup. A trophy I wish we did well in, but we did lose in the FA Cup to West Ham. And I wish we did well in the Carabao, because this could have put us into Europe, where Southampton have been before. Was it under Maurizio Pochettino? I can't remember the manager, but if Leeds United can hit the Europa League, why can't we? Yes, I know they did it through winning a trophy. But why can't we do that as well? I really don't want to get relegated at all. With this team, there's only one player was crucial out on loan, and that is Ammo, as now we've got a really decent midfield line. It's probably can we sign, and maybe even a striker again to make sure we move up in the world as £52 million for a relegation fighting team without a trophy. That is brilliant. And I say without a trophy. Now, Southampton in recent years have 2 promotion ones, but that is nothing to really brag about, as I think we have to lose a striker to gain one. As Bravo, he's already put himself on the transfer list, and I'm thinking about Brereton Diaz, but he does offer a lot of goals from the bench, so I might keep him. Lee Hyun-ju, I do actually want to keep him around. I will try and sell Matsuki, because he's the player with the contract expiring. No one else could really go. I mean, Flynn Downs technically could. And maybe even Sugawara. Despite him being good, we have Vinicius Tobias, who was 4 years younger. A very good bid for Wellington, but it's this bid I'm actually concerned with. Bravo. Or I'm not concerned at all, actually. Don't know why for a second I actually questioned that. I just thought it was our starting striker, because he's on the crucial role, but he's going out to Aston Villa. Same as Matsuki, but he's going to Norwich City for a little bit less. And this is where the transfers get hard, because we've got £18 million to spend, but we are going to be buying attackers, and attackers are always the most expensive players. So what I might actually do is keep Ju as a starting striker, then Carlos. I know he scored goals, but he'll be a backup. Did I just call Ju a striker? I didn't mean that if I did. I meant Cam as Daniel Maldini, a very good player, and actually he's higher rated than him, so he will get the nod. Now, I know he's not the youngest of Cams, and that's a good thing, I guess, because it will leave these two to fight it out for their positions, but I put Maldini in first because it makes us all over 80 rated, leaving that striker position to sign, as I think we've got around 55 mil. And one man who was severely underrated at the Saints, Manolo Gabbiadini. I know he was old, but he knew where the back of the net was. So in similar fashion, we're going for a man who can just bury the ball, and this man's grown in potential. He's actually grown in size as well, it seems. Lucha is his name, this striker, and I say he's a big unit. Never stopped growing because he's 6'7" and 86 rated. I'm pretty sure he starts in the 2nd division. Now we've gone a bit Italian, and now we've got a very good team with Nanasi, who's grown. We've got Fredrup, but the main man is Cardoso, because Ammo, slight hiccup on his growth. Last season he was a French giant in Lyonnais, so we can excuse him for not growing too much here, but Johnny Cardoso has gone up +4, Bazunu up +3, and then +5 for Mamadou Sarr. Something about the Strasbourg boys, as have we finished there? I actually don't know, as Lucha gets 15, Ammo 12, and Brereton Diaz just continues to score. I don't know what he is, a goal machine. However, really low rated, and never looks like he should be in our squad, which is going to be playing Champions League football. Never mind European, I wanted that, and now we can scrap it, as Nottingham Forest are going to get that place that Leeds United had through the FA Cup, and we go into Champions League football with a pretty poo record in knockout rounds, because Leeds beat us in the FA Cup. The first round we actually entered, and the second round to Chelsea in the Carabao, as there's the finalists for the Champions League, which we're in next year. Johnny Cardoso has some hard carrying if we can actually keep him at the club, as even Barcelona failing in it, and Inter and Atleti Madrid. Oh, and this is actually a shame after all the hard work we put into him. Switching him from a left mid to a right mid, Brereton Diaz moves on to Fulham. Release clauses in a lot of the players' contracts from our days down below when we were relegated to the Championship, as Sugawara has also gone to Forest, leaving us 2 positions light. But there's Middlesbrough in this league. We should be getting promoted or going up again to the Champions League. £120 million, that's from the players leaving and the UCL, which we've qualified for this season, so Liam Rosini is still doing a very good job. As Tobias, he was really good. I think we've kind of ruined his career, because we will need another right back. then we can explore a little. We could replace Brereton Diaz on the bench, but then Maldini, we could move him down to the bench and get an ultra strong cam in that position. Someone like a James Ward-Prowse. I'm trying to rebuild a very good Saints team, which kind of replicates real life. But then again, I had to look at Strasbourg. Delane Backwell looks a very good left-hand sided player. If we changed him over there, and Diego Dalot as a right back, who, screw it, I'm going to steal. I've never really used him in career mode. Of course, a pedigree at Manchester United, which doesn't mean much right at this very moment. Get him changing to a right back, and technically it says he's still in his peak. Not as good as Sugawara was rating wise, but it does leave us money to go out there and get that cam. Maldini can be replaced, and with 85 million pounds, come on, we've got to find a really quality player. As I wonder what Diblin's doing nowadays. Is he actually getting played at Newcastle? He wouldn't come back as our right wing, and he isn't doing. He's been shipped off to Ipswich, 22-year-old, kind of having a Harry Clark movement. Or a Jack Clark, sorry. Got his big move after relegation. Just like he did, and Ipswich Town are in the Championship. So I'm not going to be signing him back. I'm going to go all out on an Englishman from Bayer Leverkusen. No, he's not actually a Ward-Prowse lookalike, but it is Harvey Elliott, who can definitely sit in that cam role. Who very much completes the team, and I'll show you him in a second. Maldini's the first up. For a change, an 86 overall. That's actually very good. We've got Elliott up a +4, Nanasi, but unfortunately, Amo is still in the team, not knocking Maldini out because he stops in it. Maldini, I'm sorry to your father. Just don't tell him you're not playing, as then Lucha scores the most goals for us. The giant up front, as he's our Gabbiadini regen, then Elliott's our Ward-Prowse. Cardoso is maybe Romeu, although he wasn't the best player overall, and a very good team. Ronnie Edwards, one of the weakest, same as Bazunu, but these two are OGs. And I do want to keep a theme going, as hey, I didn't expect that, but we have won the Premier League, 4 points over Newcastle United, and that's a very weak Premier League actually. Still, it's worth celebrating, but 75 points to win it. City on 65. That is mind-blowing, but hey, Premier League title doesn't go amiss. It's better than just getting one of them championship playoff titles. As Bournemouth beat us in the FA Cup, Everton in the Carabao. They were both round 4, so I still don't feel good about the Champions League. However, we finished 6th, Bologna in 3rd, so we kinda can feel quietly confident if we just go about our business. But then again, Milano smashed us. So we have to go again, have to grind our way. At least we're in the Champions League. Guaranteed, as Dalot. He could be the next out, and he's only just arrived. Because I'm finding it hard to improve this team. We've got 290 rated, a decent striker scoring goals. Edwards, I really do like the look of the centre-back, as maybe we could go left-back to avoid replacing him, as I really do like the bench as well. Look how good it looks. We've got 2 OG players in Flynn Downs and Wood. Then again, our academy at the start of the save really hasn't worked out for us, because Sangare's not grown at all, same as Salim and Oliveira. But focus on the goalkeeper. We're not going far in cup competitions. 151 million. Just a fullback and a keeper is needed. And seeing as Dalot is used at left back in real life for Manchester United, let's focus on right back again, because Dalot can play any off the bench. So if we get a starter into the team, and I'm liking the look of this man, he has literally just left Chelsea. He's at BVB, but Malo Gusto. Come try and win a Prem title, as we've got a thing in this save for signing, well, half-proven Premier League high-up fullbacks. Fantastic, as now we could just use a proven goalkeeper in the Premier League, now stuck in the Championship, Kinski. I actually really like this guy. I really rate him when he did play for Spurs. Despite the drop-off of form at that club, as now we have French next to French, and keeper now on bench. Does that rhyme? as I want to go for another player. One I've already looked at because Ipswich Town are struggling. And Lee Hyun-ju. This might be harsh on this man right here, but I feel it will be a full circle moment to bring back the 23-year-old. Tyler Diblin with a release clause of £80 million right now. It just shows our improvement if we can get an ex-academy player who the Saints did value at a lot of money and we didn't sell him for a lot of money. Buying him back for it, which is a shame, but still I'm happy to have him, and hopefully here, back at home, he can win a Champions League medal. Slots onto the bench perfectly, as Wood is now our weakest player there. But again, another original, as we did bring an original back. Could have made him a cam, but I just wanted everybody in the correct positions just going into this season as is, as before the defensive line. This is brilliant. Amo stepped up to a 92 at 23. Cardoso, Harvey Elliott 92, and then Lucha 90. Not the youngest of players anyway. Nanasi 91, and then Edwards 87, carried by the man at the side of him in Sa, who's just phenomenal. As goal-wise, we're getting more from our right-hand side of player. That is why he's increased by 4. And then Lucha, 26 goals. He just is our best player, as what an off-season in the Premier League, from winning it to 10th. That's a sackable offence, methinks. For Liam Rosenia, so he better have recovered elsewhere. But elsewhere in the Community Shield, we end up losing 2-1. We were out of the FA Cup in round 4 to Oxford United. And nowhere near the Carabao. Round 4 again. We're capped at round 4 finishers. Despite bringing in Kinski, as could we do it in the Champions League still? Well, it looks like we did focus on this competition, winning every game in the league phase, but then we had to squeeze it last year in the round of 16 where we got beat. And this year, we win on penalties. First time that's happened in a while. And Atletico Madrid, I do like to beat. With Barcelona beaten as well. 2-1. Stopping the El Clasico. Stopping the rot of Southampton, as we're not going to the Championship. Instead, Champions League finale. As a little bit of a kick clash, not much. I don't like the white and yellow against each other, but still, really, with our attack we've built, we should be giving Real Madrid a very good game for themselves. As Harvey Elliott, here he goes. He was playing in the UCL with Leverkusen when we bought him. Needs that run from Imo. He does get it at the end. The tall man in the box, in Lucha, who scores the header, and I really thought the man was offside. The 6'7" beast. Of course he starts with the header. A move I didn't think would work out, but Amo just gets that first time crossing. And yeah, he looks pretty offside to me. But his 99 heading accuracy has us leading straight away, and Harvey Elliott was really good in that move. Look at the quick feet he's got. He needs someone in that gap right there. Oh, it's twigged on to the wrong player. Yet again, a solid move though, and Bellingham, who we did try to sign, running through. That's a great tackle. I can't believe it. I know this game. I know what FIFA's like, or FC25. I knew they'd give that. Let's have another look. It's Fredrup, who is our captain. Maybe can't really argue, and a chance for Real Madrid. It's saved though by Bazunu. And can we actually try and counter-attack? Fredrup avoided a card, and now we need to get running quickly. Harvey Elliott, if the big man has a bit of pace about him, this could be 2-0 very quick. It's Lucha. It is 2-0. He's on for a hat-trick in 25 minutes, and that is an insane goal coming from the penalty save at one end. Shouldn't have really been a penalty in my eyes. To make it 2-0 is fantastic, as the difficulty actually did get raised a while back, so now we shouldn't be able to do this, but the formation Liam Rosenia is playing, and the players he has, like Harvey Elliott shrugging off his man right here, is allowing us to play good. It's a ball towards the big man, saved by his fellow countryman, but still he's definitely on for a hat-trick here. With the way that man's been playing, as I would like to get Tyler Diblin on today. We are into the second half now, still 2-0. Very bad tackle, and Brahim whips it straight in. It will find Vini Jr., who I've just known is on the field, and Barella, he's got 2 stabs at it. Won't be as easy as I thought, because that is a shoddy goal. We get a view of the cut-off bench, and now only 2-1. Don't like it, don't like this. And they also have an advantage here, because I just spotted we are at Atleti's ground. And look at that. Look at that for a nutmeg from Amo, who's already set up a goal. If he could Try and set up. Lucha on the run again. He smashed it, and is it a goal? What's the referee given? I actually think the Nasi was offside, but I didn't get a replay. As hopefully now we've really killed them off on counter-attacks. We could cause another. Gusto through the middle onto Ammo, who's going to run into the centre of the field. One of the best players we've had in a save in a while. Lucha stays centrally because you, my friend, are on a hat-trick, and that is another counter goal and a hat-trick for the big man. I think this is one of the first times we've had a hat-trick in a while, especially in a UCL finale. Luciano Lucha, I think that's how you say it. Maybe not, but I know he's been described as a very selfish player at Udinese, and he's proving to be right here, as now Frendrup runs in a circle. Now forward onto Harvey Elliott, cut inside. He deserves a goal, but if he could feed Ammo, we might have to go for a power shot here. And surely that ball was handled, but still into the dying embers. We need a tackle from Wellington, which is missed. Don't let Real Madrid put the pressure on Kylian Mbappe. Sarr has been a man mountain, and that is one of the best tackles I have ever seen. Frendrup whacks it up, and the Saints march in towards a Champions League trophy, which they are literally doing player by player. This is going to be a very good trophy lift, as it's Frendrup the man to do it, the man that did actually give a penalty away. But I'm sticking with it. I don't think it was a pen, as there we go. The first team relegated, rebuilt straight away. And I think you guys can predict what's coming for the channel. As let me know if you enjoy the relegated rebuilds. Also, maybe some promoted ones. And also, whatever you guys suggest down below.